Hi, Steve here at the SJCOE Fab Lab, and we are going to enjoy using Minecraft education. It's going to be a really fun lesson. This is computer science support for the 6th grade Trace Unified STEM unit. The students are going to use a game called Minecraft Education in order to do some engineering, to do a little bit of computer science. They're going to work on solving real problems in a virtual world. It's going to be an awesome lesson. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the computer science that kids are going to be learning. Now, this is going to have some coding. A lot of it's going to be engineering, but there's computer science skills that they're going to be using throughout. Let me explain. The California Computer Science Standards have 5 categories. Computer systems, because all computation occurs on a physical object. Algorithms and programming, the coding that we think of for computer science. Networks and the internet, because, well, we use networks with computers so we can transfer information quickly. That's why we're able to talk through this video. Data and analysis, because computers are great at dealing with large amounts of data. And impacts of computing, because we want students to responsibly use these skills that we're giving them to solve problems for everyone. So let's look at the standards that we're going to be dealing with today. So the first is 6-8 AP18, distribute tasks and maintain a project timeline when collaboratively developing computational artifacts. That's good engineering. That's good teamwork. Whether or not you're an engineer, those are great skills for the kids to have. Dealing with time, working together. Next, 6-8 AP19, document programs in order to make them easier to use, read, test, and debug. This is still good, even if you're not a software developer. Scientists document their work so that other people can see what they did, right? Lab reports. So we do this in coding as well. We want students to document their work. It's useful not just in coding, it's useful in other areas as well. It's especially important when you're coding because understanding what someone else wrote is not always easy. Lastly, 6-8 IC22, collaborate with many contributors when creating a computational artifact. Again, students are going to be working together. They're going to give feedback of what they made and hear from others how they could help more. All of these are great skills for people to have so that they can work together, especially when they are software engineers. Okay, so let's get started with Minecraft education. Here I am. I have just logged in. Stephen C. Is my account. I want to point out that you need a Microsoft account, like your email address, in order to log in. TUSD accounts work just fine. They are Microsoft accounts. You can choose a skin, what you're going to look like. This character is named Steve, so I'm going to stick with that. It works for me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go into play. I'm going to create a world. Worlds that you've made in the past are saved here with View My Worlds. You can even have students who are together in the same room because they would there to be on the same tenant. Join a world that you host. It's a little bit more complicated, and it's really important to talk to students about being good digital citizens, not, I think the term they use is griefing one another, but not destroying things that other people build, giving other people space, not typing a lot of stuff into the chat, just behaving well in this digital space. But we're just going to go into uh, a single world, and you can have students, each student, to be in their own world, or groups of students in worlds that they're working together. So I'm going to make a new world. I suggest creative because we're not interested in running away from monsters. I also think it's important to show coordinates. That really helps. Brings in a little bit of math too. The world of Minecraft has X, Y, and Z coordinates. It's north, south, east, west, and up, down, but it's X, Y, Z. And I think that is enough to set. Yeah, that's all good. I'm going to say play. Now, a new world is going to be generated. It's not going to be the same. It'll be a little bit different from other worlds. I could go deeper into the world. But we don't need to. Well, this is all quite nice. I am going to hit the spacebar twice and start flying by holding down the spacebar. Okay. Wow, this is pretty cool. I am going to find a place that I think we could start our community. See, what we're doing is we're thinking about how we can make a sustainable community in our virtual world. And using models is a part of the engineering standards. Let's keep going. Now, simplest way to start is to take items from our inventory by hitting E. Well, I'm going to use some wood planks, maybe bricks. I can search for other materials. All right. Now, one of the simplest things that we could do if we're making a community would be to build a house. So, if I right click, I place an item. And if I left click, I destroy. Let's see if I have any more items I can use. I could place carpet. I think that what I want to add, notice we have so many things. Pressure plates, flowers. There's a lot of items we can use. I want to use slab. It's going to look a little bit better. So I'm going to choose a number as I press, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm able to select different items. Okay, so I'm kind of making a floor in a way. And I can also start to put down some bricks. Now, we're not going to spend a bunch of time building right now, but with time, we could build a little house to start our community. Well, that's wonderful. There are so many things we could think about that are ways that we can keep our community sustainable. The first one that comes to mind for me is farming. Maybe we want to have an urban garden so that near our house, the community members can build or grow some of their own food. Now, to get started, I could build my own house, and I think that's a great way for us to start. But I also could find a nearby village and modify it. Let's see if I can find a village quickly. Okay, well, this village already has a little bit of gardening going. There's villagers. They even have a little bit of farming. Well, we can start to think about ways that we can make this more sustainable. Notice we have one central garden. Uh, Students could modify this town in order to add little farms for each individual. Maybe they would show that they've added a farm here um, and a farm here. How would we go about building a farm? Let me show you. I'm going to hit E, and I'm going to till. And you might have noticed that I happened to run into some seeds earlier, and I can start to plant. Over time, this can grow. I often will make sure that there's a little bit of water nearby. So I'm going to say, I'm going to get a bucket. So we've made a little bit of irrigation. We could do more to irrigate. Oh, there we go. Notice the soil's not dry anymore. Things will work a little bit better. We're seeing a little bit of growth here on that one. When I come back, there'll be more. Let's see what's in here. Oh, neat. Little house. My irrigation is working. Now, oh, and we've got some farming going, or ranching going on around here. Great. Now, modifying some other village that already existed is one way to show that you're working on sustainability and considering how we can make a sustainable community. I'm going to point out that well, some of these are built with wood. Maybe we should consider sustainable forestry. So students could plant trees, and instead of just choosing inventory, they could mine. We call it mining, but they could mill um, lumber that they use in their garden or in their structures. Uh, we could consider the usage of water. Maybe what we're going to do is take a body of water and create a canal to bring water into our community. There's lots of different ways that students can think about how they use their resources. I'm going to point out one other one that I think is just a good thing to think about: energy. And that's a key for them to consider here. Now, you'll notice, oh, the sun is going down. And so it might be good for us to start thinking about light. Now, a lot of these villages, in fact, generally in these villages, the way that they deal with lighting is with torches. Now, there's another thing that we can use in order to light, and that is called redstone. Now, redstone dust is kind of like metal, a conductor within the world of Minecraft. So I am going to get a little bit of redstone dust. Redstone torch can be a source of energy. There's a lamp. And I'm also going to use... no, I think I'll go with a daylight sensor, which we can use to behave kind of like a solar panel. So I'm going to select one and I'll start with a redstone lamp. And then I'm going to put some redstone dust. And at the end of it, I'll put a torch. Oh, hey! It's acting as my energy source, and it's lighting up this lamp. Now, there is resistance, evidently, in the world of Minecraft, because my dust will only conduct so far. In order to make it go further, I need to use a repeater. I am going to get rid of this, and instead, oh, it doesn't work anymore. I'm going to use the solar sensor, the daylight sensor. Oh, nothing. Well, I suppose that makes sense. It's not day. So I'm just going to use a command line, or a command, to change the time. Oh, it's daytime. Oh, and it's glowing. And so in this way, we're making solar power for our little village. We can start to install, well, things like daylight sensors and lamps. Instead of needing torches inside of the house, maybe I'll install a skylight. Let's see. Doesn't look bad, but I could use some of this glass in order to have a skylight. Now, let's talk a little bit about coding. This has been nice. It's fun to build stuff in Minecraft Education. I think it's great for the students to sketch out ideas, build what they think of, talk with their teammates about how they could make the world better in this model world. We can also do a little bit of coding. I'm going to hit C, and that's going to bring up something called the code builder. Now, if you hit C and it gives you three options, like this, I don't really want to lose all my work, so I'm going to say cancel. But what we would see is three options. You're going to choose the top option, and it'll be make code, and that'll take you to this. I'm going to say new project, and maybe all I'm doing is starting to make a floor. Well, what would my code be? Well, I could just start really simple. Kids don't need to make an entire city from a program, but I could start by saying, you know what? I want to place not a pressure plate, maybe just oak planks. 0, 0, 0 is where I am, kind of like X, Y, Z coordinates. Um, Here we've got north, south, up, down, and then east, west. I know I personally would think of north, south, east, west, and then up, down. But anyway, I'm just gonna have this over to the side a little bit. A 2. And you know what? Just so we can see it really well, I'm gonna make it a block of gold. All right, so I'm gonna run my program. Oh, there it is. So I've made a block of gold. I suppose that's nice, but you know what? How about, because, programs should make things easier for me. I don't want to have to keep running the program every single time. Let's instead go over here. I think this is a nice place. What I'm going to do is go back to my code, and I'm going to use a loop. What a loop does is it allows something to happen over and over again. So loops, and I want this to happen, let's say, for index being a number, from 1 to 4. Move this over a little bit. And you know what? Instead of being 2 over, I will make it index over. And not just go from 1 to 4, let's go from 1 to 20. So as this starts, it says from 0 to 20. It'll be at 0, 0, 0, then 1, 0, 0, and 2, 0, 0, and 3, 0, 0, all the way up to 20. All right, let's run our code, see what happens. Well, oh, hey, the loop allowed something to happen over and over again. And now I've made a lot of gold bricks. Now, the cool thing about this is I could start to make an entire house, right? Like we could make an entire building with a little bit of code. Like I could say duplicate. And I'm also going to add a little bit of math. Yay. And so it doesn't show up exactly where I am, because that kind of bumped me the last time. I'm going to say index plus 2. And the same here. And the first one is at 0. The next one is at 1. I'm going to duplicate that again. You know what? Instead of gold, because that seems impractical, I'm going to go with spruce. Okay. So plus 2 and plus 2, 1, 2, 3, and I will put one more, 4. Now I will point out, I could, since we're incrementing there, we could have a 2-dimensional loop, but we won't get into that right now. I think this is enough to start. So I'm going to, before I run this code, I'm just going to find a new place, double clicking. Oh, looks like I already ran it. Didn't mean to do that. All right, here we go. Let's try it out. C, I'm going to hit go. Oh, there we go. It's building my floor. It's like it skipped one there. Oh, skipped the number 2. But you guys see what we have here. We're making a floor of our house, and we could write a little bit more code, make the sides of a house, and add more to it. Um, Students can design almost anything, working together, delegating tasks, figuring out as a group how they could build parts of their city. Maybe that canal that we talked about earlier, they could make going through an entire city with just some code, not using up a bunch of time. I will point out they should comment their code. I am going to right click and say, you know what? Just going to move this over a little bit. This code makes our floor. That way, when one of my teammates goes to work on it, they understand what I was doing. I can also share this code to the group by hitting share, then publish project, and I can copy this and add it into, say, a Word document. One last thing, let's talk about how we can make the students' documentation inside of the world of Minecraft education using Book and Quill. So let's add that to my inventory. Let's say I want the Book and Quill. So I'm going to select it. It is now item 7. And I'm also going to add a camera. So E and camera. All right, so I can take photos of what I've done. Right here, I'm going to go over here. I can right click. Oh, hey, there I am. And I'm going to go into my Book and Quill, and I can start to add in notes. We made a floor for our house using code. Let's catch some of the other stuff that we did. Oh. Awesome. There we go. I clicked on edit. I'm going to add in one of my photos. And then on the next page, I can say, we worked to use solar energy using a solar sensor. Now, students can then click sign. And what it'll do is close their book. It is no longer mutable. They can't edit it. But what it's done is it has made for them something they can export and turn in as a PDF. Oh, there we go. I'm going to hit cancel. students can go through their world, document their work. They can even turn into links to the code that they've made. They can get feedback from their classmates, uh, give feedback to others, distribute their work, and figure out how they can make a better world through engineering. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. I hope your students enjoy it. Bye.